there, YouTube land and all social media lands. Welcome to an all-new video. This we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out 2 weeks ago, and is a all-new original film that is about racing. So we're gonna get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms such as X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Threads, Patreon. Pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check them out. As always, people, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out 2 weeks ago, and is a racing car film that I think was just absolutely fantastic and the best of the year. And that happens to be a film called F1. Yeah, F1. Yeah, F1. So this is a new film that was produced by Apple Movies and brought to us by several other companies as well. This is a, like I said, a racing car film about Formula One racing, which I thought was really clever and really, I feel over the years we've really only concentrated on like NASCAR racing or dune buggy racing and stuff like that, and I really feel we haven't seen much of F1 type of films, or at least I haven't noticed hardly any. And this one I felt it was nice to see a little bit of something about Formula One. And I tell you, this film blew me away. I was really blown away. I mean, for the fact that the racing in the film was done so well, the acting, the writing, the music, the whole theme, the whole thought process was done so well and so well constructed. And it just really blew me away with just how great of a film it was. That it felt like a classic action, awesome film, drama, whatever you want to call it, type of film from, the classic days, the 90s, the 80s, the, early 2000s. We had so many great films throughout the 90s that were just so well done. I mean, films like The Firm, films, that came out around that same time that were considered real big hits, like A Few Good Men, Top Gun, of course, from 89 or 88. We had, of course, films from the 80s too, like Glory and stuff like that were just so well done as well. And all these films have something very in common, I feel, and they're really well constructed films that have a great beginning, a great middle, and a great end, that have a cohesive story. And that's what F1 did. And I was really impressed with that, because from the get-go to the end, I was literally enthralled in the whole entire film and was entertained. And everything about it was like how I felt a movie should entertain, and how it felt, and it felt like an actual movie again. It didn't feel like it had some other sort of agenda, which unfortunately a lot of the films these days have had recently in the last 5 to 10 years, I feel. And it's too bad, because movies are supposed to be about entertainment and fun and to get yourself out of real life. And then interjecting things that are in real life into it don't help to take you out of that escape. And that's what I feel movies have always been, in my opinion. So this film, it did that exactly. It gave me that old great feeling of the classic movies. Even the movies from the 50s and 60s and 40s and 30s, all of them always took you into an escape from reality to be entertained. And that's what F1 did. Now, F1 happens to be directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Mr. Joseph Kosinski. Oh yeah, Joseph Kosinski. Woo, Joseph Kosinski. Yeah. So Joseph is an amazing director. He's directed a few things over the last few years, and he has become a really solid director that I feel pretty much anything he puts his name on is a really solid film. And that's what he did with F1. He gave us this really fantastic film that was amazing from beginning to finish. And the acting he got out of his players in this film was so well done. He knew exactly how to portray it. He knew exactly where to go with it. And he really had a great solid script that works throughout the whole entire film. And it felt like that kind of that camaraderie too. I felt he got out of the film, where it felt like that classic feel, like, oh, you have the hot shot that needs to be taught something, you got your veteran that's trying to teach them, and then, you know, they end up becoming friends at the end. And that's what this film did exactly. And Joseph did such a great job of bringing that to life again and giving us that great type of solid film that just blew, like I said, blew me out of the water. It was nice to see an actual film again. And I know I've said that probably in a few other reviews recently in the last couple years, you know, that I felt that there's certain movies, you know, and this one I add to that, you know, collection of those types of films that have felt like real movies again. And it's nice to finally see those films again, and hence why I really appreciate Joseph Kosinski for bringing us a great film that was to entertain again. And I enjoy that, you know, his writing, along with Aaron Kruger, who is one of the best screenwriters out there. You know, he's made so many great films over the last, you know, 20 years. He's been a part of the writing team for many great films, and it was nice to see him on a writing assignment again, and he bring in his great flair again. And that's what, you know, he did with this film. And I think Joseph did such a great job of taking that screenplay that he wrote with him and just did a great job and just really made a solid film. Hands down, Joseph Kosinski, amazing a job with this film. Now, if you haven't seen anything else Joseph has directed, definitely a great film to check out of his that just came out a couple years ago is another great sequel film that, you know, was another great pleasure to see and have it be a solid extension of the first film. And that, of course, a film called Top Gun Maverick. Yeah! Top Gun Maverick. Yeah! Everything he did with that film is what you see in Formula 1 and F1. He did the exact same thing with Maverick. He gave us this really solid film that was super amazing, action-packed, great story, and felt like an entertaining film. And also at the same time just felt like a really well-constructed film that didn't feel like it was missing things. It didn't feel like it had some sort of thought process that it was trying to push out. And it just felt like your common film where there's a good guy, there's a bad guy, and the good guy's got to win type of deal. And that's what he did with Top Gun Maverick, and gave us that really awesome story that really enhanced all those other great characters we saw in the first film. And Joseph did a great job with that, giving us a really solid film. If you haven't seen anything else Joseph Kosinski has directed, definitely check out Top Gun Maverick. Really superb directing, and he did a fantastic job with it. Definitely worth the watch. But overall, I absolutely loved what he did with F1. I thought he did a spectacular job. I hope he gets some directing credit for this film. I hope he gets Oscar nominated. I hope he gets Golden Globe nominated, because he did such a freaking fantastic job with this film and just deserves all the accolades he can get. If you haven't seen anything Joseph Kosinski has directed, go check out F1 in theaters now. He did a phenomenal job. So this movie has a really great cast, lots of great people in it that all did an amazing job, and all of them played their characters very well. And I really enjoyed just everything they brought into the characters too, because they had the right attitude, they had the right thought process, they had the right way of portraying these characters, and you felt like they were those characters, and they did a really great job with them. And I was really impressed with that, because it felt like your classic film where, you know, the veteran guy is trying to get the young guy to learn things. He gets in an accident, the mother gets mad at him, says, I will take you down to Chinatown type of deal. And that was just great to see again, because that was something I was just kind of like, holy crap, you don't see that hardly anymore, and that was great to see again. And you just felt like it was so well constructed and so well done, and that's what all these actors and actresses did so well, that brought it and made it really entertaining and really fun. Now, to start us off is none other than kind of the main person in F1, Mr. Brad Pitt! Oh yeah, Brad Pitt! Woo, Brad Pitt, yeah! So Brad Pitt, of course, you might recognize from a slew of things over the years, you know, from Fight Club, to, of course, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Seven, many other things over the years. He is just a really well done, versatile actor. He's done so many great films that you just absolutely love. And he's just a solid actor. And I mean, he has really proven that he has a really great acting chops on him. He's played so many different types of characters, and he just is all around really fun and just really awesome. And I love everything that Brad Pitt brings to his characters. It's always very, standard. It's always very, Brad Pittish, and he just always plays his characters, I think, really fun. And I just really always enjoy him, too, because I just think he has such a great finesse qua about himself that is very, awesome and just really well done. I mean, I think his acting is like, very top tier, Oscar, award-winning performances that I think some of his stuff just goes unnoticed because, I think that he just has a lot more to offer acting-wise than, what a lot of people see in the tabloids and stuff like that, and I think that he doesn't get enough credit for how good of an actor he is. And he brought that to this film. I absolutely loved his character in F1. I appreciated the character. I thought he did such a great job of portraying this character. I enjoyed his kind of connection with the different characters, like him and Javier Bardem's character, him and Carrie Condon, him and, the young kid, and just everyone else in the film. They all worked so well with Brad, and Brad worked really well with them. And Brad just really brought a really great, constructing, awesome story that worked really well for the character. And you actually felt like you knew the whole kind of character story throughout the film. You learned it piece by piece and, discovered things. And Brad did a great job of portraying that. And when he did do stuff where he, had to give a certain story piece that, added to his story, he always played it out very well. And I think that he just was really fantastic in this film. Now, if you haven't seen Brad Pitt in anything, definitely a great film to check him out and that he was recently in. Is a really fun film that I really enjoyed that he starred in with George Clooney called Wolves. Yeah! Wolves! Yeah! He was absolutely fantastic in this film. I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a really great job with it. I thought he was fantastic. Him and Clooney working together and being opposites of each other was super hilarious. I loved his comedy in it, and I loved his action sequences throughout the film. But also, I think that he had a really great, interesting kind of character arc, too, that really kind of spawned an interesting story, like, where's this, going to go after how that film ended? And I just really enjoyed everything that, Brad brought to that character, and I thought it was a very entertaining, very great, thoroughly, created character that was just really entertaining. If you haven't seen Brad Pitt in anything, definitely check him out on Wolves. He was absolutely fantastic in it. But he was absolutely phenomenal in F1. I hope he gets some award buzz, too, as well. He just was so amazing in this film. He was, from beginning to end, just so awesome. And just a really superb, characterization of his character. If you haven't seen Brad Pitt in anything recently, go check him out in F1. He was absolutely phenomenal. So that brings me to the next actor I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than the owner of Apex in the film, Mr. Javier Bardem. Oh yeah, Javier Bardem. Yeah. Absolutely love Javier. He is such a great actor, so awesome, so phenomenal. And absolutely just love watching him work because he's played so many different types of characters, bad guys, good guys, based on true story type of characters, and he just is one of those great versatile actors that is so good and no matter what he does, and he was absolutely fantastic in F1. Absolutely loved his character. You felt for him, you enjoyed him, you could feel him and Brad Pitt's camaraderie. And you could just really tell that he cared about him as a friend and stuff like that. And I thought Javier did such a great job of expressing that and giving this really well-constructed character that you felt throughout the whole entire film and understood and felt his, pain. And I think Javier was just really fun in the film, too, because he had some really great, one-liners, and he had some really great scenes where he was just really emotional and had really great conversations with Brad Pitt and so forth. And I think that he just overall was a really great addition to that film and was fantastic as the character that he got to portray. And I think it just showed how talented he was too. That over all these years, still, almost 20 years later, after his Oscar-nominating performance, he still is very amazing. And I think he really brought that in this film, and he was just absolutely fantastic. Now, if you haven't seen Javier Redeem Anything, definitely a great film to check him out in. An Oscar-nominated film, his Oscar-nominated type of role that he deserved every credit for, because he was just absolutely phenomenal, and he just was, such a great character in this film, and great bad guy. And that, of course, film called No Country for Old Men. Yeah! No Country for Old Men. Yeah! He was absolutely fantastic as the bad guy in that film. The precision he brought to the character was just on point and worked out well. Everything about the character you felt was sinister and felt like all the emotion of him. Even though he barely spoke any words in that film, you were absolutely, just his expressions were on point. His look and everything was on point. And Javier did such a great job of giving us that really solid performance that made you hate him even more, and absolutely felt that this is one of the best bad guys you've seen in years. This is like, bad guy level like Jack Nicholson Joker, or bad guy level like, from, classic films, who usually always played bad guy type of characters. And he is just one of those great actors that can really pull off a really great villain that you absolutely despise, and he did that with No Country and Old Men. And you absolutely were just like hating every time you saw him on the screen, because you knew he was going to win, because he's such a great bad guy. And he just did such a superb job. If you have not seen Javier Redeem Anything, definitely check him out in No Country for Old Men. He was absolutely fantastic and phenomenal. But overall, I thought he was a really great addition to F1. I enjoyed him. I thought he was really fantastic. I thought he worked well with everyone, and he just was such a great, fun character in this film. If you have not seen Javier in anything recently, go check him out in F1. He was absolutely fantastic. So that brings me to the final person I'd like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than one of the female actresses in the film that is a really fantastic addition to the cast. She absolutely was a great character, a great love interest, and just overall I thought she had a really great performance in the film. And that, of course, is Miss Carrie Condon. Oh yeah, Carrie Condon. Woo, Carrie Condon, yeah! So Carrie Condon, you might recognize from a few things over the years. She was in Banshees of Inisherin. She has been in a few other films over the years, and is an up-and-coming, I feel, rising star that is really fantastic. And I enjoy her. I think she's a really great actress. I think that her accent is amazing. And I think that it's always fun to listen to her talk, because it's so authentic Irish. And she just really is very fantastic at her performances. Her performance in Banshees of Inisherin was so well done, and really showed, I thought, her, acting ability. And I think that she just really brings that into F1. And I really enjoyed her character because I loved it. It felt like a real mutual type of relationship, type of arc in the film. It felt very natural. It didn't feel forced. And I felt that her and Brad Pitt's chemistry was really on point as well. And I thought they worked really well together and really brought a great relationship into the film. And I also just enjoyed how she portrayed her character being this, young woman that is trying to show that she can be this head technician in F1, even though she's a woman and something like that. And I like that they didn't overplay it, and they made it like, oh, she's like this, how they had it written was a lot better written than you would see in other movies over the years. And I enjoyed that she played just a normal woman that was trying to show that and trying to be in a man's world type of deal, and trying to prove that she can do a job, just like any other job. And it wasn't like a main focus. It wasn't something that was, so woke that, it just was played out very well and constructed so well and played very well by Carrie Condon. And I absolutely love that. I love that she brought that great feeling to that, and that she played this really fantastic character that was super enjoyable in the film and didn't feel like it was some kind of forced role that just didn't feel natural to the film. Now, if you haven't seen Carrie Conn in anything, definitely some films to check her out in, that she provided a great voiceover for, and just, I absolutely love her as this character. I think she was absolutely fantastic as this character, and I think that she was a really great kind of new character versus the original great character of Jarvis. And that, of course, was in the Marvel Universe. She voiced Friday, and of course, Friday also in Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, also Spider-Man Homecoming, and many others that she's done. She just did such a great job as Friday. I absolutely love her as Friday. I think she did a really great job. I really enjoy what she brought to the character. I like the voice takeover that she did. I thought that she was really solid, and I just really enjoyed how she was very different than Jarvis, but at the same time, she brought a really great kind of almost relaxation to her character as Friday. Her voice was always soothing, and you always felt good when you heard her say, things like, oh, that's being deployed and stuff like that. And I just think Carrie did a great job of bringing that character to life and making a very strong staple in the Marvel Universe. And I think that she doesn't get enough credit probably for voicing that character very well. And I very rarely ever hear anybody talking about her voiceover as Friday. And I think that she should get a lot more credit for how great she was as this amazing credit, as this character, as this voice that, was very prominent in Iron Man's history throughout the rest of his history in the MCU. And I just really enjoyed and everything about that Carrie Conn brought to Friday, and I think she did a really superb job. If you haven't seen Carrie Conn anything, definitely check out her voiceover work in the Marvel films. She did a really fantastic job. But overall, I thought she was a great addition to this film. I absolutely loved her as a love interest and as her character, and just overall, I thought she was a really great character and addition to this film that really made the film even more enjoyable and entertaining. If you haven't seen Carrie Conn in anything recently, go check her out in F1. She was phenomenal. So what is F1 about? Basically, the premise of the story is Javier Bardem is an owner of an F1 team, and basically he is in the rut because he has not won any race in this season, and if he didn't win any races or place in any of the races, he could lose the team to the board. And basically he ends up bringing in his old F1 driver friend, Brad Pitt's character, to help him spruce up the team and to basically, get them a winning team. And it's kind of their history kind of combined into them helping this team out, to them becoming a top contender and becoming, kind of getting over some vices they all have that they're dealing with from their past. Really well done film, so amazing, so well constructed, great action sequences, great racing, the music was phenomenal, the writing, the acting, everything about this film was so top notch, and it felt like a Oscar-nominated, Oscar-winning film. It just was so well done, and I just got to give it giant 10 golden bucks up. Can't wait to add it to collection. It just was so phenomenal. If you have not seen F1 yet, highly recommend go check it out in theaters now. Really well done film, super awesome film. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time here, or you have been before, don't forget to check out any older new videos you've not seen mine yet. As always, huge shout out to my subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. But if you really want to help out the channel, help it improve, help it get better quality products and stuff like that, please check out my awesome Patreon page, where you get all kinds of access to cool stuff you don't get here on the YouTube channel when you become a member. Plus, it also helps the channel build and make better and better quality films and videos for you guys and all that kind of cool stuff. So definitely check that out, please. As always, catch you next one.